Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
Microsoft ties executive pay to security following multiple failures and breaches. Following a series of security failures and breaches, Microsoft has announced significant changes to its security practices, including tying executive pay to security performance. Amid criticism for preventable breaches and inadequate security culture by the U.S. Cyber Safety Review Board, Microsoft is extending the scope of its Secure Future initiative and will prioritize security above all other features. The company pledges to enforce phishing, resistant multi-factor authentication, and least privilege access, and improve network monitoring and log retention, among other measures. Additionally, new Deputy Chief Information Security Officers will oversee progress within engineering teams. CEO Satya Nadella re-emphasized the company's commitment to security and priority over adding new features. F-Society targets Rutgers University, Bitfinex, in latest cyberattack. The F-Society ransomware group has purportedly targeted prominent entities including Bitfinex, CoinMoma, Rutgers University, and SBC Global Net in their latest cyber attack. While the attacks remain unconfirmed, the group claims to have stolen significant amounts of data from each victim and demanded ransom payments within 7 days to prevent data leaks. No official responses have been issued yet, though attackers posted descriptions and sample data links for each victim. Bitfinex has had prior cybersecurity incidents, including a major incident in 2016 where law enforcement managed to recover a substantial amount of stolen Bitcoin. Ransomware drama. Law enforcement seized Lockbit Group's website again. Law enforcement seized the Tor website of the notorious Lockbit ransomware gang again, this time announcing plans to reveal the identities of the group's operators and supporters on May 7, 2024. This latest move is part of the ongoing Operation Kronos, which has already arrested 2 Lockbit members, seized cryptocurrency wallets, and obtained decryption keys and the group's source code. However, Lockbit claims law enforcement is lying and that their operations continue unabated, vowing to increase attacks on government sectors. Despite the February crackdown disrupting their activities temporarily, Lockbit has relaunched its ransomware as a service operation with new infrastructure. Illinois' biometric data privacy law could soon be less costly for violators. Illinois' legislature is quickly advancing a bill to amend the state's Biometric Information Privacy Act, limiting damages for violations to $1,000 per person instead of per violation, even if involving the same individual. This move comes after an Illinois Supreme Court ruling against White Castle that could have resulted in a multi-billion-dollar judgment based on counting each instance of biometric data collection as a separate violation. The bill aims to address concerns that the current law forces excessive settlements due to the risk of disproportionate penalties for technical violations, while still maintaining robust privacy protections. It has passed the Senate and is expected for a General Assembly vote next week. Plaintiffs' attorneys view the current law as potentially leading to pressures to settle out of bankruptcy fears. These dangerous scammers don't even bother to hide their crimes. Cybercriminals known as the Yahoo Boys, primarily operating in West Africa, openly conduct a wide array of scams across social media and messaging apps to showcase fraudulent activities and share strategies to manipulate victims. Despite warnings and removals by social media platforms, these scammers continue to operate with relative impunity. The scams range from romance fraud to sextortion, with devastating impacts on victims, including instances leading to suicide. While social media companies took some action to remove these groups and accounts, the Yahoo Boys continue to exploit platforms and evolve their techniques, including incorporating technologies like deepfakes to deceive victims. 4 critical vulnerabilities expose HPE Aruba devices to RCE attacks. HPE Aruba Networking faces critical vulnerabilities in its Aruba OS that expose devices to remote code execution attacks. 4 of the 10 security flaws are deemed crucial and allow threat actors to execute arbitrary code by exploiting buffer overflow bugs via specially crafted packets sent to the Process Application Programming Interface (UDP) port. Affected systems include Mobility Conductor, controllers, AA gateways, and SD-WAN gateways managed by Aruba Central, spanning various software versions, including those in end-of-maintenance status. Security updates have been released urging users to apply patches promptly, with temporary workarounds suggested for Aruba OS 8.x versions. Path Traversal Vulnerability Elimination in Software sought by feds. The FBI and CISA urgently advised software companies to eliminate path traversal or directory traversal flaws before releasing products. These critical vulnerabilities enable code execution and authentication bypass and were recently exploited in attacks against U.S. critical infrastructure, CVE 2024-1708 and CVE 2024-2345. Recommended mitigations include random file identifier generation, separate metadata storage, restricting executable permissions on uploaded files, and implementing character restrictions in file names. Despite being labeled unforgivable over 15 years ago, directory traversal bugs CWE22 and CWE23 persist as manufacturers fail to properly sanitize user-supplied inputs as potentially malicious. Android bug leaks DNS traffic to hackers while switching VPN servers. A critical flaw in Android's operating system allows DNS traffic exposure during VPN server switches, compromising user privacy across multiple Android versions, including Android 14. The vulnerability, which bypasses security settings like block connections without VPN, was confirmed by Mulvad VPN after a user reported DNS leaks when toggling their VPN. The issue stems from Android's handling of DNS queries during VPN reconfigurations or crashes. Leaking DNS data risks revealing users' website visits and app usage. As a temporary fix, Mulvad plans to set a bogus DNS server to block leaks until Google addresses the root cause in Android. Linksys router flaws exposed, POC published, patch unavailable. Cybersecurity researchers uncovered critical vulnerabilities in Linksys E5600 routers, allowing attackers to execute commands. Exploiting flaws in Wi-Fi protected setup and the diagnostics menu, attackers inject malicious commands due to insufficient input validation. These vulnerabilities, CVE 2024-33788 and CVE 2024-33789, pose significant risks, especially as no patches are currently available for firmware version 1.1.0.26. Users are advised to verify their firmware, disable WPS if possible, use diagnostics cautiously, monitor for updates, and consider upgrading to more secure router models. Beware Android users. Hackers may steal your money through apps. Microsoft researchers uncovered a serious security flaw dubbed dirty streams affecting Android apps that allow file sharing with other apps. The vulnerability enables malicious actors to send manipulated file names or paths that could trigger unintended actions in receiving apps like email clients, messengers, browsers, and editors without user knowledge or consent. This opens the door for potential data theft, malware installation, and account compromise by rewriting app settings or exchanging authentication tokens with attacker-controlled servers. With some affected apps downloaded over 500 million times, the threat is widespread across the Android ecosystem until a fix is implemented. Microsoft alerted Google's Android security team about this attack vector. 93% of security leaders have increased SaaS security budgets. A new report from Valence Security reveals that 58% of organizations experienced a SaaS security incident in the last 18 months. 96% of security leaders are prioritizing SaaS security, and 93% plan to increase SaaS security budgets in 2024. However, challenges persist, with 50% citing distributed management of SaaS apps outside IT security teams and governing generative AI adoption as top issues. In 100% of organizations analyzed, the report found overprivileged third-party integrations granting excessive access to sensitive data. While cloud access security brokers and SaaS security posture management tools are widely adopted, the complexities of securing the modern SaaS environment require innovative solutions to address risks like misconfigured apps, dormant data shares, and compromised integrations exploited by attackers.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOHeadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.